things like crackers, muffins, vegetables, fruit, goldfish, gummies, cookies. Am I missing anything? I mean, I'm sure anything pasta within that category, the body literally sees it as glucose, a form of sugar. You might look at a cracker and think it's a cracker, or you might look at a strawberry and think it's a strawberry, but the body does not see it as a strawberry. The body breaks it down and uses the glucose from it for energy, which is fine. That's great. They need that. Kids need that. But what they don't need is an entire lunchbox full of glucose, because that will spike their blood sugar levels through the roof and leave them, as I mentioned before, very hungry in a couple hours, or maybe even 1 hour, and cranky. They're going to have mood swings, and they won't be able to stay focused. Hey guys, so today's episode is sponsored by Baja Gold Co. It's one of my personal favorite salts, and Baja Gold is the world's most flavorful sea salt with naturally lower sodium and industry-leading macro and trace minerals to support daily performance. Hi, we are Corey and Christine, two moms on a mission to bring ancestral wisdom to modern motherhood. I'm so sorry, I blanked.
It's okay.
Sometimes that happens in the moment. And because we're using an older outline, it's not written on the outline. So I freaked for a minute.
Okay, why, Christine? Why are we using an older outline?
We are using an older outline because you guys have requested over and over again that we redo, or that we, for the newer listeners, that we talk about what we can feed our kids. And so we did an episode called What Can I Eat for Breakfast? And we talked all about the different ways you can, all the different foods and the different strategies and, just tips for feeding your family breakfast. And now we're moving on to lunch.
Right. So when we did this in the past, this was literally our very first round of episodes. So I think
it was episode number 9.
Right. That's how old this is. And we did a whole series. We did breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, snacks, drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we said, we were joking before we started recording that we could tell you guys to go back and listen to that. But quite honestly, just so early in our podcasting making that
hobby
at that point, that the mics weren't good, the sound quality is not great, and who even knows what we said. I'm sure it was good content, but we've matured in what we're doing since then.
I mean, think about it. We started in 2022 and it's now 2025. So that's been 3 years.
Right.
Yeah. So we've learned a lot.
Thank God. Learned a lot. Got better mics.
Yes.
And now we have video too. So now you can watch on YouTube, as well as listening on whatever platforms that you get regular podcasts on. So
wait,
go ahead.
So before we start, we want to remind you to please hit the pause button, scroll down, rate us, give us a 5-star rating, and leave a comment. I know we say this all the time, but really it is the easiest and free way to support our show. And the more you guys share with other friends and family members, and the more you rate and leave comments, then it boosts us in the algorithm so other people can find the show. So we really would appreciate that support.
Yeah. And it helps advertisers who are trying to get to advertise on the show realize that, we're actually getting listening and we're getting all those things. Yeah. So we really appreciate all the people who've already done that. Thank you so much. All right. So today we are talking about lunches. So the series was called, I think we're still calling it, What Can I Eat?
Yes.
And then this is our lunch edition.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can go back and listen to the breakfast edition that I think we published, the second breakfast edition.
Mm-hmm. Which was published in April, I believe.
No, it was farther back than that, wasn't it?
March?
Okay, doesn't matter.
It will be in the show notes. The link will be in the show notes.
Yeah, and it was published earlier this year.
Yeah.
And so now
we're doing lunch.
We're doing lunch.
And in the original lunch episode, we actually talked a lot about school lunches, but we're not going to talk about school lunches at all in today's episode because we have an entire 3-part series talking about school lunches, which we will link in the show notes again. And in that series, we interviewed Hillary Boynton of School of Lunch, Erin Goldstein, who is another chef who cooks for school lunches, and Zen Honeycutt, Moms Across America. Talks all about school lunches. So we don't want to beat a dead horse.
Okay, so if we're not talking about school lunches, what are we talking about, Christine?
We're talking about the worst meal of the day, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Lunch.
This is so funny because when we did breakfast, that was my opinion on breakfast. My opinion on breakfast is the worst meal of the day. But you love breakfast.
I love breakfast.
I despise breakfast.
I hate lunch. I hate it. Why do people have to eat in the middle of the day? It's so ridiculous that I have just cleaned up breakfast and 2 hours later I'm having to prepare something again. Are you freaking kidding me?
Okay, wait a minute. So now I'm really curious. Do you hate lunch because of when it happens? Do you hate lunch because of the food? Do you hate lunch if you could go out to lunch every single day? Would you hate lunch? Like if you could have somebody else prepare it, maybe not go out, but like have somebody else deal with it, preparing it, cleaning it up and everything, would you hate it?
Yeah, no, I would be very happy if somebody else took care of lunch for me. Of course.
Okay, so what is it about lunch that you hate?
Because I feel like you are supposed to eat lunch at around between 12 and 1. Okay. Yeah. And that feels often like an interruption in a morning flow that I have. Okay. And naturally, I'm not hungry until realistically like 2.
Wait, so
I would eat lunch at 2 o'clock. I feel like our breakfast, oh geez, sorry guys. Our breakfasts are so filling that oftentimes we're not hungry again until like 2 o'clock. But then 2 o'clock feels very close to dinner because I want to eat dinner at like 5 or 5:30. And that's only, 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
So then like, why don't you just do like a European thing where you eat lunch later and then you eat dinner later? Because you want to get your kids in bed?
I want to get my kids in bed, but also for health reasons, I don't want to be eating dinner late. Like I would rather eat a 5 or 5:30 dinner so that there is plenty of time for digestion to happen before bedtime.
Okay.
Really, I think it's just annoying. It's just annoying that you have to prepare another meal in the middle of the day and clean it up. When like I don't mind cooking full meals 2 times a day.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing it at breakfast and I don't mind doing it at dinner.
But in the middle of the day. It feels annoying.
Yeah, it feels annoying to me. I don't know. Okay. Ma'am listeners, what do you guys think? Who's on team lunch is annoying? And who's on team Corey?
Okay. Okay, let me clarify here. I would agree with you that it is an interruption. And we talked about this on our breakfast episode. I would rather wait and eat breakfast until like 10:30 and then eat lunch at like 2:30 and then eat dinner at like 7.
Okay.
However, for my evening sanity, I would rather eat dinner at like 5:30 because that like gives me enough time to do the whole nighttime thing with the children and not get them in. Like I would like to have them in bed by 8, like asleep by 8 so that I have some time to kind of debrief, chill out myself. But maybe this is getting into our dinner conversation for later, but I agree that I think lunch is at a weird time.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily hungry at noon. But in our brains, or particularly for my children, I think in their brains, they're like, it is 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
I absolutely have to eat right now.
Okay, so now that we've covered the annoyance of lunch, what do we make for that meal?
Yes. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. I think the only way to not be totally annoyed at lunchtime is to not actually cook something.
Yeah, I agree. Period.
Yeah.
Or to reheat leftovers.
Yeah, reheating doesn't count.
No, yeah.
So my strategy for lunch is either leftovers, which is fine. Although truthfully, I'd rather save leftovers until like Wednesday night because I like to have a night per week that I don't have to cook.
Yeah.
So either leftovers or a soup in the colder months that is what I like to call a full meal soup.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a soup that has all those macros, right? So it's got a good amount of protein. It has a good amount of vegetables. It has a good amount of, it has lots of bone broth, so that it's a super filling meal.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have bread to put on the side, great. Or if I have some cheese or some like salami or something, that's just pull it out and cut it up. Great. But literally the only thing I want to be doing with it is heating it up.
Yeah.
And then in the summertime, I started doing this last summer when my kids went to surfing camp once a week. My kids would be going to surfing camp and we would have to leave early in the day and we'd have to have lunch on the beach. Have to. It's wonderful. But like you have to make dinner or you have to make food. So I started doing this thing where I would make, instead of soups, because who wants to eat hot soup
on the beach
in July
beach? Nobody.
In Florida?
Yeah.
Like, no. So I started doing this thing where I would make salads that were the same concept.
Oh, yeah.
But not like leaf lettuce salads. Like these are not salad. Because if you make a lettuce salad, it gets soggy and weird.
Yeah. And not all kids will eat it.
No.
Yeah.
And particularly like over a couple of days. Like if it's sitting in the fridge for a couple of days, you're not going to want to eat a salad 3 days later if it's made with any sort of green. So I started making these like really hearty salads with like beans or lentils or grains. And I would always cook the beans and the lentils and the grains in bone broth. So then we've still got the bone broth. We've still got, the hearty food. We've got, usually I would make some chicken or add some salami or pepperoni or something like that. And then some harder, more like vegetables that can stand up to being cold for a while. So like broccoli or carrots or peppers, those kinds of things. Or a pasta salad, not usually a pasta salad, but that sort of thing where it can last for a couple of days. It's the same idea as that soup. And it's even better. You don't have to heat it up.
That actually sounds really good. It got really dark outside all of a sudden. I feel like it's going to thunderstorm. But anyway, it made me think of a lentil, mint, feta. What else could you put in it? Maybe bell peppers and chicken. Cold salad. That sounds so good right now.
Yeah, that sounds really good. We've been doing it since last summer. We started doing it last summer, and then my kids have liked it so much that we've continued it and do it almost every day for our packed lunch, or not every day, every Thursday for our packed lunches when we go to co-op. And yesterday we made one that was grains, lentils, feta. There was like a lemon tahini dressing, which was so good.
Oh, yum.
I don't think I put chicken in it because I don't think I had any. And then I had some roasted broccoli and cauliflower from the other night. And it was just like, and then toasted almonds, like all these things. It was so good. It was so good.
So delicious. Well, okay. So you mentioned salads, and this actually makes me think of salads in general. I don't really like eating salads in the winter. But ironically, because of our growing season in Texas, that's when they grow. Yeah, you're in the same boat. But we are in the spring right now, and I feel like now we're starting to get a lot of greens, arugulas, lettuce. So now I am eating a lot of salad. And I just want to preface that I would never expect a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old to eat a salad. I would never serve them a salad for lunch. However, that
Wait, you would
being
never
said,
serve them a salad, or you'd never expect them?
I would. Two things. I would never serve them a salad because I would never expect them to eat it. I feel like they're still at that age where maybe for some kids, but I know that their gut is still developing and they don't have a preference towards raw vegetables in particular. And generally you tend to put a lot of raw vegetables on salads. But where am I going with this? What I'm trying to say is in these seasons where salad greens are abundant and the weather is warmer and you want to eat them, I do find myself gravitating towards them and making, like you said, these like massive salads that have a super delicious dressing that's like, has a lot of fat in it, adding either canned fish to it or any protein that you have on hand, a lot of cheese, nuts, things like that. And I will make myself this massive salad and everybody else will eat something else and then I'll sit down and eat it. And it happens so often where the older two will look at it and they'll say, "That looks delicious. Can I have a bite?" I'm like, "Yes, you can have a bite." So then they take a bite and they're like, "This is really good." I'm like, "Yes, I know it's good. This is my lunch." And then they'll ask for it. So I think eventually the younger kids will see that. And, once they feel ready, they'll also want to start eating salads. And I just think this goes for anything in general. Like, any food
absolutely.
in general. If your kids see you eating it over and over and over again, they'll eventually want to bite. They'll be jealous. And I think there's also something about the whole, this is my food. This is an adult food. It's not for you.
Well, it kind of makes it like a forbidden fruit sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not going to like this. I'm sorry.
That's funny. I was trying to think of, because we both have, our youngest are 4.
Yeah, 4, almost 5. Yours is almost 5.
I know. Oh.
Mine turns 5 a few months after yours.
But I was trying to think of if she eats salads, because I know my 2 middle girls love salad.
Okay.
Love it. So my 11-year-old and my 7-year-old love salad. My 13-year-old son almost never eats salad. And I'm trying to remember if my 4-year-old does or not. I don't remember. I think maybe she does sometimes. I don't know. Yeah. I know. It's so interesting when we're getting into summer, and I definitely want those kinds of meals more. But in the winter, it's definitely like, no, give me the soup. I want the soup and a hunk of bread and a hunk of cheese. And those are perfect in the middle of the day.
So for my kids, I find myself doing more of like snacky plates for lunch.
Yeah.
Where I'm using a lunch meat of some sort, or maybe even leftover protein from morning, whether it's like leftover breakfast sausages or sometimes hard-boiled eggs, or like a hard-boiled egg salad, like an egg salad. And then veggies, just like some raw veggies, cucumber, bell pepper, I don't know, something like that. And cheese. My 2 of my kids really like olives. So olives are always on the plate because I feel like it's, an easy, fatty food that I can feed them. Trying to think what else I put on a snack plate. Seaweed sometimes. A dip. Sometimes lunch is just dips. I'll make like a smoked salmon dip or a smoked oyster dip. That's a really good one.
Just like canned oysters that you chop up and add
canned oysters that I add to mayonnaise and sour cream, or mayonnaise and cream cheese, and then give them some sourdough crackers, and here's your lunch.
Okay. I mean, that fits in that like salad, like, because you could prep that, and it could last you a whole week
if I made enough. That's a good point.
Of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. Oh, you're right, because you could totally put the dip on top of the salad.
Oh, that too. Yeah. No, but I just mean like a dip. A dip would be like a chicken salad. or a tuna fish salad or a salmon salad or whatever other canned meat
Oh my
you want to
gosh.
use.
I can't tell you how many times we do that a week too.
But like you could make that in enough quantity that it would last you 3 or 4 days.
That is such a...
And then you're not
I
making
need
it
to do that.
fresh.
Why haven't I done that?
Oh my gosh.
See, guys,
why haven't you done that?
I don't know. Gosh,
okay, wait. I think we need to back up just a little tiny bit because we were talking about salads and we glossed over something really important.
Which is
oh, you can't guess? Okay.
No.
You're going to be like, duh, when I say it. Okay. Dressings. We have to talk about dressings if we're going to talk about salad for a second.
Yeah.
Because I literally was having this conversation with my friend yesterday, and she was telling me that her family culture, like her family, loves dressings on salads, but her husband's family doesn't put anything on salad. They just eat like raw greens, I guess, without anything. I was like, they don't even put like olive oil on it.
I can't understand that.
No,
that
I know. I can't either. I'm on her team. But what I was telling her is that salad dressing, I used to think, like I bought into the ranch is not good for you. Like when I was growing up, I never ate ranch on anything.
because it had too much fat.
Yeah, like it was, you weren't supposed to eat it because it was the 90s and early 2000s.
Fat is bad.
We didn't need to put fat on our vegetables.
Yeah.
And then I learned, and you can probably go into this a little bit more sciencey stuff, but I learned that A, it tastes delicious, and B, you can't absorb the nutrients in the vegetables without putting fat on them. Tell me a little bit about this, Christine.
You got it. No, basically just that a lot of these vegetables have, and the animal foods, they have fat-soluble vitamins, which means they need fat in order to be absorbed and utilized in the body.
What?
I know. You have to have fat, so you need the accompanying fat to transport these nutrients into your cells, essentially.
So if you were to eat a giant salad, not even a salad, a giant plate of green vegetables, which would, be the epitome of health in our society's mind. Okay.
Yes.
And it didn't have any dressing on it. What?
I mean, you could, but who knows if your body's going to actually absorb and utilize those nutrients. You would need sour cream or avocado or cream cheese or a mayonnaise-based dressing or olive oil or, you need a fat in order to properly absorb and use those nutrients.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing I want to just say, and we can just say this really quickly, salad dressing, first of all, you need it. So we've learned that. Secondly, it is truly a very easy thing to make.
Yeah, there's no need to buy salad dressing.
Right. And the ones that are made in the grocery store without seed oils are like, fine. If that's what you need to do to be able to get along, fine, great, do that. They're way more expensive. Yeah. So honestly, like making salad dressing is super easy. You just put some olive oil and some vinegar or lemon juice or something together. You could add tahini. You could add even hummus. You could add your mayonnaise or sour cream or whatever.
Yeah.
Stir it all up and add some herbs or some salt or, I don't know. There's so many different options.
Caesar dressing.
It's really very easy. What?
Caesar dressing is delicious.
Oh, I love Caesar. That's my 11-year-old's favorite.
Yeah, same. That's also his favorite. He's obsessed.
Yeah, she is too. We were at the farm yesterday and where we get our produce from, and she's like, "Can you please buy me some romaine lettuce so I can make Caesar salad?" Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah, of course, obviously."
Yeah. Wait, so when I was at Janine's a few weeks ago, one of the things that she did regularly with her salads was basically use egg yolks as a base for a salad dressing.
Oh, okay.
So
Explain how she did this.
Yeah. Mason jar, immersion blender, put 2 egg yolks in as if you're going to make a mayonnaise. Egg yolks, either lemon juice or maybe vinegar if you don't have lemon juice, a little bit of mustard, your oil of choice or fat of choice. So that could be olive oil or maybe bacon fat or duck fat or something, melt it. And then she would add tons of herbs in it as well. So any fresh herbs that you have, garlic. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I just did one yesterday. What?
Chives.
Chives.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. I just did one yesterday with garlic scapes where I literally had all of these beautiful garlic scapes, and I was trying to think of creative ways to use them up. And I did garlic scapes, egg yolks. I literally made a mayonnaise, but just put in garlic scapes. Oh, you can also add cheeses, grated cheeses to your dressing. So whether that's Parmesan or Pecorino Romano, just blend it all together. And if you want your dressing more liquidy, then using your immersion blender, make sure that the fats don't emulsify, because when they emulsify, they come together and they become super thick. But if you want a really thick, creamy salad dressing that just like coats your spoon, then, make sure that when you're making it, your fats emulsify.
Excellent.
But wait, I think this is a great time to just pause for a second and chat a little bit about our affiliates.
Yeah. Okay. So if you don't know what affiliates are, this is a amazing way, a free way for you to our listeners to support the show and get a discount on some really great products. So these are what we're going to share here are just our affiliate links or our affiliate codes. These are not sponsors of our show, just to be clear. These are just really some products that we really like, and we have a discount code for you guys to use. So we thought we could share some of that with you.
And we just want to add that we're so grateful to all of our listeners. Because of you guys, Corey and I have really decided to step up our podcasting game, and, we improved our mic quality. There is now an editor behind the scenes who is editing everything for us. And, shout out to Pietro, our editor, because he's doing such a great job. But all of this obviously requires money. And this is one of the reasons why we have started bringing in advertisers and working with affiliates, because we need these funds to help pay for the back end portion of our podcast.
Okay, so what's our first affiliate code that we can share?
Okay, so the first one is a company called Macienda. And Macienda makes nixtamalized heirloom corn masa. They work with small farmers all throughout Mexico, and they use traditional agricultural practices. And so we like Macienda because they sell their corn masa in different colors and, throughout the US, or you can purchase directly from their website. They have blue corn, yellow corn, red, and white. And this is so that you can make your own tortillas at home. And you can use the code MAM, MAM 10 for 10% off. And if you don't want to make your own tortillas, they also sell tortillas on their website.
Okay, and our second... Wait, give that code one more time. So it's give their website and the code.
Yeah, so it's macienda.com, and the code is MAM10 for 10% off. We'll also put... Oh, yeah. I was going to say we'll also put...
the same thing.
Yeah.
We're putting the link in the show notes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, our second code that we're going to share with you is from Seatopia. So if you go back and listen to the couple of episodes we did with the fishing people, whatever. We talked about all sorts of ways to get... Wait, you just made a face. What do you want to say?
Well, yeah, specifically the episode with Shannon Walker, she talked about Seatopia.
Right.
Okay.
So the code that they have given us is Ancestral Mama, and that's going to get you 10% off. And they sell sushi grade and snap frozen fish. So it's frozen at the peak of freshness, and it's all clean, certified clean seafood that is mercury safe and microplastic tested. So check out their website, Seatopia.com. Is that right?
It's Seatopia Fish.
Fish.com.
Yeah. But
Okay.
we'll put links in the show notes.
Yes. So that code again is Ancestral Mamas, and that's going to get you
No. Not Ancestral Mamas. It's code Ancestral Mama.
Right. Sorry. No S on the end of that. Okay. Let's get back into lunches. All right. So we wanted to talk, even though we're not talking about school lunches specifically, because we have those other episodes you guys can go back and listen to. We do want to talk about packing lunches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's be super clear. Like, I only pack one lunch a week because we have our homeschool co-op once a week. We pack a lunch to bring to that. So I'm not an expert on packing lunches. My kids did go to school for 2 years, and we did pack lunches every day for that. So I can kind of like think back to that and remember what we did. But I'm not currently packing a lunch every day.
Yeah, I'm kind of in Corey's shoes where I'm also not packing a daily school lunch. This year, we were packing a lunch once a week for co-op. Previously, my kids did go to school and I was packing lunches regularly. But yeah.
Okay, so what do you think is important to talk about for school lunches, for packing school lunches?
Man, Corey, I feel like we say this all the time, but focus on protein and fat first. So put the foods in the lunchbox that are going to help your kids have long-lasting, sustained energy and that will satiate them for the rest of the day. And so what is that? That is literally animal protein, animal fat. But what does that look like, right?
Yeah. Speaking of what does that look like? So there are so many accounts that I follow that are not so many, but like a few accounts that I follow that are more conventional, I would say, in what they are feeding their kids. And some of them are specifically like lunch packing accounts. And almost every time I watch one of these videos of them packing a lunch, I'm like, okay, literally everything in this is a carb.
Oh, what? Okay. If you search on Instagram or TikTok, lunch packing, and just watch those reels, they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. They are so beautiful. They're so well done. And you will feel like a failure because your lunch is not Instagram worthy. But 99% of the time, they are carbs. They are colorful vegetables and fruits. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But your kid is at school all day from 8 to 3 or whatever it is that they're doing. And if you really want them to be able to stay focused and be at their best, we can't just be loading them up with sugars in the middle of the day. They're going to crash an hour later, 2 hours later, and they're going to be super cranky when they come home and they still have to, do homework or, make it through the rest of the day.
Okay. I need you to stop.
Okay. Sorry. That's so
No. You can keep ranting, but I need you to pause and you use the word sugar, right? So you said we can't be feeding them only sugar. Explain that a little bit more.
Okay. So things like crackers, muffins, vegetables, fruit, goldfish, gummies, cookies. Am I missing anything? I'm sure anything pasta within that category, the body literally sees it as glucose, a form of sugar. You might look at a cracker and think it's a cracker, or you might look at a strawberry and think it's a strawberry, but the body does not see it as a strawberry. The body breaks it down and uses the glucose from it for energy, which is fine. That's great. They need that. Kids need that. But what they don't need is an entire lunchbox full of glucose, because that will spike their blood sugar levels through the roof and leave them, as I mentioned before, very hungry in a couple hours, or maybe even 1 hour, and cranky. They're going to have mood swings and they won't be able to stay focused. Think of yourself, or just like the average American, Or if you're just happen to like walk by a coffee shop at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody is there for a coffee and everybody is there for a muffin or a croissant or something sweet to pick up their blood sugar levels again so that they can make it through the rest of the day. This is a whole nother subject. But
I know, but I think, unfortunately, I mean, we are at the point of having to talk about some of this stuff. If figuring out what to feed your family feels exactly like a never-ending to-do list, I get it. That is exactly why I created these 3 cookbooks just for you. 1 Chicken, 5 Meals shows you how to stretch a single bird into a week of nourishing, no-stress dinners. Nourishing Junk Food lets you create your favorites with using real food ingredients, no food dyes, no seed oils, and no other junk, just the flavors that you love. And in betweens, that's the secret weapon for snack time, lunch boxes, and all those what do I even feed them right now moments. All 3 are kid-friendly, mama approved, and made for real life. Get your copies today and turn your kitchen into a place that you actually enjoy. Go to fornutrientsake.com and use the code MAM15 for 15% off your order.
hey mamas, do you want to add a new secret ingredient to your kitchen? Are you ready for this? Give Baja Gold sea salt a try today. We know our food is lacking minerals because of the depleted soil, so increase your mineral content of your food by using Baja Gold sea salt.
Baja Gold is an all-natural, unrefined sea salt from the Sea of Cortez. This salt is made the way it used to be, sun-dried with all of the ocean's minerals intact. No processing, no chemical flowing agents, nothing but pure, unrefined mineral salt.
And because of how and where they make their salt, Baja Gold is naturally lower in sodium and higher in minerals like magnesium and potassium. Moms, did you know that magnesium is a mineral used in over 300 bodily processes? Yeah, I know. We all know it is helpful for relaxing little bodies before bedtime.
Give Baja Gold a try today. Visit BajaGoldSaltCo.com to learn more. Check the show notes for the link and use the code MAM10 for 10% off.
That is MAM10 for 10% off. So let's kind of talk about this in practicality, okay? My children are relatively adverse to things like meat in a lunchbox, okay? So unless it is a meat stick or jerky, something that is supposed to be eaten or that they normally would eat at room temperature, they almost will never eat it in a lunchbox. Because it's cold. They don't want to eat it cold, right? Cold or room temperature, or even I've tried putting it in a thermos. Yeah. You know, where you heat up the thermos and you can put hot food in it, it'll stay hot. And that still never goes over well. Oh, interesting. And I cannot figure out what the problem is. One time, I think I might have mentioned this on our other lunch episode. I was like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? This is brilliant. I'm going to pack bacon for my son. I think bacon's a great lunch option. He wouldn't eat it. No. I was like, you will literally eat an entire package of bacon at home if I make it. Yeah. But if I put it in your lunchbox, you won't eat it. Wait, I just had an idea. Oh, good. What if, and this is literally just about changing the presentation. What if you took said bacon, chopped it up super fine as if it was bacon bits, and put it in like a little container, and then had sour cream. Just like shoot it in his mouth? And either they shoot it like that, or maybe they sprinkle it over the sour cream and they just eat the sour cream with the bacon bits. I mean, I would eat spoonfuls of sour cream with bacon bits. I mean, I could maybe try that. I do want, like, how do you handle that though? Yeah, that's a really good point. Because I know I'm not the only one. You're not. No, there's so many parents out there with the same problem. I think it's just about figuring out what your kids like. So when we say the lunch needs to have protein and fat in it, we're talking your protein options could be anywhere from bacon to breakfast sausages to lunch meat I mean, you could have turkey or ham, to just like chopped up pieces of steak if temperature is not a thing. I really rely on thermoses a lot for lunch and putting leftovers in it personally.
Yeah. And
what about chicken? What about like shredded chicken or like a chicken salad? Would they eat that?
I have some kids that will and some kids that totally will not.
Yeah. Or hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah, no, that will never happen. I tried that actually. I've tried that a couple of times because I only actually have one kid that likes hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah.
And she's like, she won't. No, she won't. I don't know. I have no idea what the problem is.
Yeah, hard-boiled eggs are hit or miss in my home as well. There's something about them. But if I put them in an egg salad with mayonnaise and, I don't know, salt and whatever other things to dress it up, then
you're good.
They're more likely to go for it.
Okay. I'm
going to say one more protein option.
Yeah, please.
Canned fish.
Okay. I know we've talked about this because I know I've teased you about having you like bring canned fish and hard-boiled eggs on airplanes. Yes. You're the worst.
I know. I'm so sorry.
That's the worst. But how would you pack canned fish to take to school? Because like opening a thing of canned fish is not easy.
No, it's not. Yeah. So it depends on the age of the child.
Okay.
If it's an older child, I just do the can and they open it themselves. If it's a younger child, I've opened it and already mixed it with either mayonnaise or sour cream or avocado or cream cheese and just put it in and then given them crackers or veggies to eat with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that works for them.
Yeah. I'm on a roll now. I'm thinking of all the other protein options that you can put in lunches. And I've also thought of cottage cheese and yogurt.
Yeah.
You could have like a breakfasty lunch. Obviously cheese.
Yes. Oh, you know what I found when I went to the grocery store the other day? Mm-hmm. I found little packaged like bite-sized, or not bite-sized, but like small. It's like 7 grams of protein, little pre-packaged things of Parmesan cheese.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Parmesan is amazing, you guys. It has no lactose. So if you're somebody that's dairy free, it has insane amounts of fat in it and protein.
Yeah, and it's a raw cheese, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a very good option.
Agreed. But they made like snack size ones, like a Babybel size, but like already prepackaged. So it's perfect for lunch boxes.
Good.
And the only problem is that now my kids want to eat them, even though we're not packed in lunch boxes. I'm like, you can't eat them when we're just at home.
I know, right?
It's only for when we're putting in a lunchbox. Okay. I think we should take just a hot second and plug, our friend Renee Coley's book, because she has an entire book about lunches and packing lunches. And, they're all like real food, solid. I love her cookbooks. I think she's really wonderful. And she has a whole book on lunches that is out. You can go buy it. I can't remember what it's called, but we'll link it. We can put a link in the show notes.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about sandwiches for lunch, but obviously sandwiches can be a wonderful option. And this episode is literally going to come out I think this episode will come out after the grain series, possibly. So people will have already listened to the grain series and heard that one of the most basic steps you can take to change your family's health is switch out the bread. Mm-hmm. So if you are a family that's making sandwiches for lunch, find a good clean bread option or make it yourself, and you can feel good about serving your kids sandwiches for lunch.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that when packing a child's lunch, should the food that you put in there be, I'm going to use this term, safe food, but I don't mean it.
Oh.
I mean, like, should it be familiar food? That's what I mean by that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. A food that Yes, that they recognize.
Like not new.
I think for lunches, yes.
For a school lunch. Yes. Why?
Why? Because school is already pretty stressful for kids, and there are a lot of dynamics going on at any age. And to open up a lunchbox and see something that you either really hate or doesn't look appetizing, I think can create a lot of discomfort and maybe more issues with a child. So I personally think that lunches should all have familiar foods or foods that you know your kid will like and eat. Just because school is already stressful. Like,
yeah. Okay. What about
I didn't even say pate for protein. Pate.
I know. I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Here I am. I'm still going through the. My hamster wheel is turning about protein options.
Reel it in. We got to just talk about some other things here.
Okay.
Okay. What about when do you think it is reasonable to expect a child to be able to pack their own lunch and take responsibility for that?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think kids as young as 4 or 5 can pack their lunch, but you might have to do a little adjusting.
Okay, wait. So anybody who's listening missed your like overly
dramatic
emphasized
air quotes. Yeah.
Okay, so explain what that means. Like, how would you maybe guide your 4-year-old through packing a school lunch?
Probably the best way to do it would be to lay out some options. And I mean, even my 4-year-old knows what a protein is, what a fat is, and what a carb is.
Mm-hmm.
And just explain, okay, if it's one of those bento boxes, sorry guys, if it's one of those bento boxes that has like 3 little containers or, slots, I like to say, pick one protein, pick one fat, now pick a carb. I mean, that feels pretty simple for a 4-year-old. For my older kids, they're actually heating up leftovers and putting them into thermoses because they want that and they like that and they know how. And the older kids definitely know that their lunches need to have at least a ratio of 2 to 3 when it comes to protein and fat versus carbs. Did I say that right? Is that the correct math ratio?
2 to 3.
There needs to be more protein and fat than carbs.
So you would need 3 numbers then. You'd be like 2 protein, 2 fat, 1 carb. So
there we go. Okay, thank you. Math is not my strong suit.
No, mine either. But can we just like hot second? Both of us love bento boxes.
Oh yeah, totally obsessed.
Like there is, for some reason, it makes it immensely easier to just fill the little compartments. I don't know what it is. Like it just completely, it makes a huge difference. So if you're feeling stressed, I'm telling you, just get some bento boxes.
I actually feel like my lunch drawer, I have way too many lunch products that you can
I feel the same way. I'm like, I only pack one a week. Yeah. Like, this is a little ridiculous.
No, it definitely is. And, okay, so we actually had Aaron Goldstein on. We talked about that earlier, but he's been recently posting these reels on like lunches and stuff. And I admit I have already put his little bento box in my shopping cart because I'm like, oh, this one's really cute. I like this one. It's one of the stackable ones.
Oh, yeah.
So it has like a really big bottom compartment. And then on top of it, another compartment that I think is split in half. And it sits on top. So it's just a different style of bento box. But and it's stainless steel. It looked really cool. I liked it.
Cool. Yeah, I love bento boxes. We used to have the lunch, what are they called? Bent Go. Oh. But I bought them when my kids were in kindergarten, my older kids, and they are plastic and I bought them before I really thought about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of was like, I'm just going to use these until they fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of my way of doing most things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like to replace things even if they're not the perfect thing until I like absolutely have to.
Yeah.
So I waited until they fell apart, which was last year. So my oldest was in 6th grade.
Oh my gosh.
So they lasted from kindergarten till 6th grade. I mean, that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
And I have now replaced them all with stainless steel bento boxes. I use the ones from Lunchbots.
Lunchbots, yeah. I've had Lunchbots for years. Mm-hmm. I really, really do like Lunchbots, and we are not affiliated with Lunchbots at all or anything like that, guys. Like, this is not an affiliate. My only complaint with Lunchbots is that they are not properly sealed at the bottom. So if you have anything that has juices, it seeps into the other compartments.
Yes, you do have to be careful with that. They do like make little
silicone cup things or whatever.
Yeah, where you can put it in there. So the other thing is that when I was looking into replacing those the Bent Go lunch boxes, I did find something like Planet Box.
Yes, Planet Box is my fave.
So I found this other one, but the problem with Planet Box is they're sealed at the bottom of
the top. When you close it, it seals at the top.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
It has silicone in it or something?
No, but they have designed it so that it seals completely. Each compartment is separated.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, though, is that I found another company that makes one like that is the style of Planet Box, but it has silicone in the lid. So when you close it, it actually fully
like suctions.
Seals it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can like shake it around and everything, and nothing's going to move from one compartment to the next.
Yeah.
The problem is it's very expensive, so I did not end up buying those.
Oh wow.
Like very expensive.
Oh my gosh, what company is this?
I can't remember. Maybe we can put it in the show notes. They do look like really great quality lunch boxes, and perhaps if my kids were in school full time, that would have been an option that I considered more. But since it's really only once a week, I just didn't. I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
However, I really like the Lunchbot ones.
Okay.
And there are a bunch of other really good options out there for lunches, for packing school lunches. The other thing I wanted to say is I was talking to a friend the other day, and they were talking about, because they work full time, but they don't have any way to heat up their food at work.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing that is available is a kind of portable crock pot. So this is not good for kids, but this would be great for adults. So you get to work, you pack your little crock pot. It's like a personal sized crock pot. You pack it, it seals, so you can, take it on the train or whatever. And you get to work and you plug it in. And then by lunchtime, your food is hot.
Stop. I need the link to this. My husband needs this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Super cool, right?
That's fascinating. Wait, I just want to make sure that I don't forget to say this. This is not related to lunchbox containers at all. But did you know that you could cook frozen hamburgers?
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like from frozen? Like they're like a patty?
Yes.
How?
I know. Okay, so that was something else I did with Janine. And it was a lunch option very frequently when I was at her house. It was like, oh shoot, we already went through the leftovers. I mean, we were a ton of people and we need something real quick. And she would just like whip out a frozen hamburger patty. Like think if you go to Costco, for example, and they sell a massive package of already made hamburgers and they're frozen. You could just like whip out a frozen hamburger patty and put it on either the grill or even on a cast iron skillet. And within 10 minutes, It's literally cooked.
No.
Yes. I know, my mind was blown. And that felt like a really easy lunch option too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to try that.
I know.
Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about in regards to school lunches is my kids, we've been reading, or we had read the Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle series. Okay. And this is a book. If nobody knows, this is like a series of stories about this kind of magical woman and these children and like all their antics and things that they have to learn and whatever. It's wonderful. My children love it. I know you don't like it, right?
I hate Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle.
I know, it's so funny. My kids love it.
I mean, yeah, my kids love it. They think she's hilarious. I don't like her.
Oh, I feel like we're going to have to unpack this.
Not now. I think she's very manipulative, but whatever.
She's very manipulative. Okay. So the point of bringing this up was that in this story, I noticed that the children go to school in the morning, and then come home at lunchtime, are home for lunch, then go back to school in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is so interesting. Because culturally in America, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I said, I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, this is crazy. Did you do this when you were in school? And he's like, Corey, those books were published in the 1940s. Asked your grandmother.
It's like wrong generation, Corey.
Right. He's like, I was a child in the 60s. So I did. I asked my grandmother, and my grandmother's like, oh yeah, like that was totally normal. Like we would go to school, we would have school in the morning, we would come home, eat lunch, and then we would go back to school.
Wow.
What?
Well, okay, so my mom is not your grandmother's generation, but she was raised in both Ecuador and in Spain, and in both countries, that was normal. It was normal to go home, eat lunch at home, and then go to school afterwards.
Yeah, and I think it's more normal in Europe to do the same thing, right? Well, you said Spain. So, and do they go home and like eat lunch and then have a siesta and then go back to school?
I mean, the adults do. I don't know how much time the kids have, but yeah. I mean, she would talk about that all the time, about walking back home to eat lunch and then walking back to school.
Okay, so many things that is great. So many things that are great about that, right?
I know. I love it. I think we should go back to it.
Yeah. So first you get obviously a home cooked meal, or a meal that is prepared at the home. You have more interaction with your parents. Mm-hmm. You have a familiar and stress-free environment to be eating in with no distractions from your friends. Mm-hmm. And you kind of have like a way to ground yourself in the middle of the day before you have to go back, or your child does before they have to go back to school. Oh my gosh, so many things about this that I think are really great.
Totally.
I completely caveat that with saying that I completely see how that's not feasible in where we're at now as a society.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But still, like, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah. Bookmark it. Okay. Maybe we can come back. I don't know. Go back to
all the homeschool moms are like, yeah, it's not so great.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've touched on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
I know. I'm trying to think. We wanted to touch on, okay, so we talked about lunch products. We talked about lunch ideas. Packing
for
lunches.
Both home and at school. I will say, I think as like a homeschooling mom, lunches are harder because it does break up the middle of the day, and it's harder to get kids back into it and back focused.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, our friend Sloan does this, where she will play audiobooks for her kids. So she'll do during lunch. Yeah. And she does, that's like when they do their story of the world history lesson. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've done that before too. Or I will do a read aloud at lunch as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really great. I've tried that. It does not work for my house at all. But I think it's a really cool idea if you can make it work.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think that's all we've got for lunches.
Yeah.
If you guys are team love lunches, leave us a comment. Let us know. If you are team Christine and hate lunches, leave us a comment. Let us know. I think there's, maybe there's some in-betweens place too. I don't know.
Totally.
All righty. All right. So that's all we've got. I think, go follow Christine at Nourish Littles. Follow me at For Nutrient's Sake. Follow the show on Instagram at Modern Ancestral Mamas. Feel free to use those
affiliate codes that we talked about.
Mm-hmm. And watch the show on YouTube. Listen to the show wherever you get podcasts. And rate, review, like, subscribe, all those things. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being with us for however many episodes this is. Like the first one we did was episode 9, and now we're on, I think this is going to be around the 80s mark.
Yeah.
So that's super awesome.
We're crawling to 100.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Alrighty. Thanks, guys. Bye.